In this video, I'm going to discuss the scorecard end of day and compare it to the scorecard intraday. Now, on the intraday scans, there are a few more scans for the intraday than there are for the end of day, and I'll point those or I'll discuss those as I go along. They will be separate videos. In this video, I just want to talk about the scorecard end of day and the scorecard end of day stocks, $15 and up, trading at least 1/2 million shares based upon the 50-day moving average. Now, the first view uh, looks for stocks $1 and up, trading a minimum of 100,000 shares. So you're going to get a lot of stocks in here that are very inexpensive. If you look over here, here's a $3.47 stock. I don't see, here's a $4.91 stock, and so on. A lot of times you're going to see $1.50 stocks and so on in that price range, and that's why I put this view in here also. Now, I am doing this on the morning of April 23rd, 2018, and we'll just see what is happening in the market based upon these views. Now, I'm going to move this out of the way for now, and this is the end of day, and I call this a scorecard because it has all of the scorecard information that we've used over the years. Earnings per share rank, relative strength rank, group rank, and ERG, which is the sum of these three. Now, if you don't know it, the EPS rank is the earnings per share rank, and it's based upon both price and, I'm sorry, not price, slope and standard deviation. So I'm going to find a stock. Let's go up to the top with a high EPS rank. Let's see if I can find, well, here's Charles Schwab with an EPS rank of 90. And I'm going to bring one of my charts up, and this is one of my basic charts with the long-term moving averages. And as I go into the fundamental data, you can see this area. I'll make that an arrow, which has a slope for the revenue and a slope for the earnings. The revenue slope is red, the earnings slope is blue, and this is projected earnings, the dots here. So if the slope is up and the standard deviation on these earnings is not all over the place, then you're going to get a high EPS rank. Notice that this says scorecard, and that's essentially why I named this view the scorecard view. But the view contains a lot more than just the scorecard. And as I go through this, I'm just going to go from the left to right. You can see that there is a raw combo. Now, the combo ranking is what drives the stocks to their current position, and it's attached to the view. When I click on the pencil here, you'll see that there is a filter and there is a combo ranking. I call this my demand end of day combo, VPOC 1010. VPOC is a volume point of control over a 10-day period with 10 buckets. Now, I'll explain that as I go along also, but it's heavily weighted towards the closing range, the close of the volume point of control, volume, and the percentage price change one day, and then there are other fields. You can put any field you want in a combo ranking, but this one works well because it drives the strength to the tops. So just looking at this, here's the last close net change, percentage price change, 5-day change. Here is the range or the closing range for the day, and here is the volume compared to the 50-day moving average volume, which is 175,000 shares. So volume was up. And I'm going to bring this chart up, and I'm looking at this bar here because I am also running the intraday in the background. So this is the bar that is referred to here at the scorecard end of day. This is today, intraday. So the stock is following through a little bit. Now notice that the slope and the standard deviation of the earnings per share is very smooth, and consequently there is a high EPS rank. Now relative strength rank refers to the comparison of the strength of this stock over a 1-year period, with 40% of the emphasis on the last quarter, and it's in the 98th percentile. The group rank is over a 6-month period, with 70% of the emphasis on the last 3 months. So this has a very high scorecard ranking. Now notice that I did not take the scorecard rank into consideration in my combo. Well, there are some fields there, but it is not heavily weighted towards this. This is information that I can digest very quickly. I can also see that this is a box stock, a box 1, which means it has very consistent earnings. And this is the percent close to the 10-10 volume point of control. That'll be a separate video, or a video that I explain as I go along. And this occurred 13 days ago. So if I bring this chart back up and put a crosshair on it, this green going from rose to green indicates when the volume point of control went from the bearish side to the bullish side, and that triggered a positive, it triggered it from rose to green, which is an indication that the bulls are regaining control of this stock. And look, it's been active for, what did I say, 14 days. Zero is a crossover day. So this would have been an excellent trade. And as I go along, I'm going to be talking a lot about using the volume point of control for the trigger. Yes, it is very choppy, as you can see, on a stock like this, but it also alerts us to when a stock is going out of favor in the short term or coming back into favor in the short term. In the future, what we're going to be looking for are crossover days. On the day, this is the days since the crossover, and if you find any zeros or ones, that means it just recently crossed over. Let's take a look at this stock right here. You can see that it crossed over on this day, and then it moved higher, and it's stalling a little bit today, but it is an excellent trigger. And then when we combine it with VPA flags, that adds another layer of confirmation, plus the ability to see when it may be a good time to enter a trade. Now in this column we have the industry groups, and what I like to look for here, especially during the intraday, is what industries are near the top. But I also do this at the end of day, and you can see that on Friday there were, let's see, oil and gas services, exploration and production, a lot of oil related stocks were near the top of this list. So that's where the demand was. Now if I go all the way to the left here and click on this area over here, it takes me to the bottom, and you can see that there are a lot of biotechs down here. Now a lot of these are either not assigned to groups yet, or they're IPOs when you don't have an industry group here. But if you go back to the top, you can see that all of these are in industry groups. Now a couple more things on the scorecard. I'm not going to get into these signals yet. That'll happen as I go along. There are a couple of columns for the industry percentage price change, 1 and 5 days, and then these are the VPA directions, long, medium, and short term, and an EMA fan up or down. Percent close to the 52-week high, 52-week low, 52-week high date, low date, and is optionable. And that's it. About a lot of information here, and as I go through these videos and go through webinars with questions and answers, all of this will really come into focus. Now let's compare this to the intraday. So I'm going to click on this. Notice that there are 3,368 securities in here, and when I go to the intraday and click on that, there are 3,368 securities. That's because both views use the same filter. Now we have a much different look here on the intraday because I'm interested in the percentage price change one day, the range of the stock in its intraday range, the percent change from the last compared to the open. So from the open, Tile Shops is up 6.61%. The intraday percentage divided by the 50-day moving average volume. This is an estimate. It's early in the day, so at the current rate, if I bring a stock up like this, the suggestion based upon a mathematical formula is that this volume is going to be running ahead of normal. Now this bar down here, notice that it is green and magenta. This is the current volume, and this is the estimated volume at the end of the day. By the way, I am using thinkorswim. It's my trading platform, and it allows me to essentially get real-time quotes. If you are using HGSI, you should open a thinkorswim account because you can update it at will, or you could, if your computer's fast enough, it'll update every 5 minutes too. But it's a great combination, thinkorswim and HGSI, using not only VPA but any of the other methods taught with HGSI. So let's just look at this. Percentage price change one day. You can see that there's a new stock on top. Why did that get up to the top? Because of the combo. And this is the combo that I use. I call it my strong momentum intraday. The intraday range is emphasized most heavily at 60%, and the intraday percentage price change is weighted at 40%. So these stocks at the top of the list, notice that EPE, it is up 7.7% and its range is 99.94%. So it's trading near the top of its range. The change from the open to its current price is 8.72%, and volume is running ahead of normal. Now, notice I have the scorecard views over here. These are not good numbers, but for some reason this stock is moving today, and it's under exploration and production. I can also see that on Friday there was a test for supply. In other words, buyers stepped in to support this stock, and it closed near its high. It's already been moving. Notice the VPA flags here, and notice that the VPOC 1010, and I'll explain that in depth later. It was green here, and then it fell back for a day, and it turned green again as the bulls took control down here at the 1.4 level. This is one of those cheap stocks that I was talking about. If you want to avoid these stocks, go to the Scorecard Intraday, $15 and up, and sort on raw combo, and you will find stocks that are no less than $15. And you can see that Michael Kors Holding is on top. It's up 5% today. Notice the range is 100%. It's up 1.37% from the open to the last. Now, looking across here at the scorecard, you can see the accumulation is only C. EPS rank is not great, but the relative strength rank and the group rank are very good. 10 days ago, that was a negative VPA flag. Let me point out that the percent close to the VPOC here is red, it's not green. So that means on Friday it actually went negative because that day was zero. Now it's going to go positive today, I'm sure, so I'll bring the chart up, and these indicators build during the day. And notice that here was the rose color on Friday as Michael Kors drifted down. It turned red, but today it is turning green again on this gap up. Note the projected volume for the day. There has to be a news story on Michael Kors. Now, you can go into Thinkorswim, or you can get more info from the web and go to any one of these sites. It'll open up whatever site you select. But you can clearly see there is more demand than supply today. That's based upon volume and projected volume and the current range, which is 100%. That's 100% of the daily range. Now, I'm already running over the 15 minutes. I'm at 16 minutes, so I'm going to stop this for now, or stop this and end this video, and then I'll move on to some of the other warehouse views, filters, and